the problem. Like, some guys just work out so much they become robots. And I always tell guys, like, the game is, to me, more 80% mental than physical. Like, obviously, you got to have the physical tools. There's certain intangibles that make you better than others, but that mental aspect of chess and checkers, you know what I'm saying? If you could play chess and be 3 steps ahead of the person in front of you, you're going to win that matchup most of the time. The one thing I'm going to give to anybody that comes here, no matter if you become a 1,000-point scorer, all-conference, player of the year, all-American, stay humble. Like, this could be gone tomorrow, truthfully. Like, I want guys to buy into your role because your role is bigger than, you know what I'm saying, just a basketball player. Like, become a good person because you'll start to see it translate on the court like you can.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Shift Across the Border. My name is Max. I'm here with Chris. And today we have on the first, episode of the recycling of our teammate guests.
We're running out of people.
Shout out Adam. Shout out JC. Haven't had them on yet. Gonna have them on. Shout out Ben. If we can convince him to come on, he'll come on. Ben's never coming on.
Bro.
But we have...
He's too cool for this shit, I guess.
We have today with us, blessed to have his presence, the GOAT of Elms basketball. I had to play. I had to play into the joke. We have TC.
Tahquell Cadle.
Recently finished his
final game of basketball as a college basketball player.
After 6 years of...
Five, relax on the 6. 5.
You were...
I was here for 5 years.
Here for 5 years, but a college basketball player for 6.
It's technically 5. I didn't play the 1 year, but yeah, we can do 6 if y'all want.
He's 6. He's been 6 years in this bitch, and he's definitely gonna miss his veteran presence next year.
That's a fact.
Talk a little about how it feels like you've been doing this shit for 6 years. Now, I guess
You face the tape towards you.
you're not in it anymore.
Towards you. Yeah.
Now you're not in it, I guess, anymore, or you're getting ready to move on to your next phase, whether that be on the court or off the court. Talk a little about the motion that kind of goes behind that.
I mean, yeah, I was always been prepared for it, you know what I'm saying? I know, everything comes to an end, even though this may not be the end for basketball, but, you know what I'm saying? My last chapter at Elms, you get what I'm saying? It's a good go-around, Definitely try to, change up some things. I didn't really feel more sad about it. I was kind of happy, you know what I'm saying? I think I left behind a good legacy. Again, I talked about, a lot of this with, people off the court, but just leaving behind a, legacy off the court as well, being a good person, just trying to inspire and, uplift people in this community, no matter, color, height, everything in between. And again, just trying to change the culture at Elms. I think, when I first got here, it's kind of different, in terms of, egos and just, buying into the whole just, this is Elms, because you hear that a lot when you get here, oh, it's Elms, Elms. I didn't really want to hear that, just not for sports, but, off the court. So a lot of people don't know, obviously I was more than just a basketball player. I was a part of, res life in the dorms and things like that. So, college kids, the way I play my role is kind of different from, others. Yes, I enforce the rules, but also, a little leeway. Everybody makes mistakes, and you see that in all aspects of life. It's just, getting people to understand where they went wrong, just making sure they don't repeat the cycle. So,
how do you think the culture at Elms has changed since you got here day one to now?
I mean, I think personally, especially for basketball, a lot of people just bought in and seen, the process. I think that's the main thing. A lot of, guys and people in general don't really trust is the process. Obviously, you can manifest, you could do all these things in between, but you got to trust the process. Like, everything doesn't happen overnight. So, I know, especially this year, like, I seen a lot of younger guys, like, they didn't just embrace me being like, hey, he did this, he scored 1,000. Obviously he works hard every day, comes in and do X, Y, Z. They kind of embrace, okay, cool. This didn't happen overnight. They seen the work I put in. So I think, a lot of younger guys and even guys that were like, juniors, sophomores, whatever, middle class, like, they started to see like, okay, I got to put the work in and obviously, just trust whatever my road is because everybody's path is different. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I came in and, like we were speaking about a little bit before the podcast started, I took one game and I was in the starting lineup, you know what I'm saying? For another person, it may take them a whole season, maybe 2, but again, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean just because it takes, your journey a little longer than others that, you won't have the same success or even more success than, the next person, so.
On the last podcast with you, we talked about having like a season review on the next one, so kind of want to get your thoughts. How do you think the season went for you and the team?
I mean, most people, see it as a failure. To me, I wouldn't.
Who sees it as a failure?
Yeah, I mean, I really wouldn't look at it as a failure.
I know you're 5-20, but who really you got that same amount of wins as last year?
No, more. 2
so
more. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I wouldn't say that a failure.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say, though. A lot of people look at it just because, you didn't make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Certain things didn't go, our way. We dropped a couple games, things that come together as we wanted. But my personal opinion, like you just said, we're 2 games better than last season. That's the process I'm talking about. Like, you just can't become a 20-5 team or, rank nationally or just be the best team in your conference overnight. It takes that culture and just building it not only day by day, but sometimes, again, it takes longer than you account for. So,
But also, I feel like one of the things, like when we were having people on at the beginning of the year, like before the season started, and we were saying, what are the goals? And I feel like, I don't know if it was Neil, but somebody was like, I want to compete in every game. And I feel like, I don't know, I guess I got the impression that last year you guys got blown out quite a bit. And like you guys weren't competing. And I feel like this year, we have 5 wins, which is 3 more than last year, or 2 more than last year. I wasn't here last year, but from your guys' team. But we lost like 3 or 4 games by 1. Another
couple
3
game
or 4,
winners,
a couple game winners. Another 3 or 4 by single digits. I don't know, maybe if it was Mike or it was somebody else. We were talking like there was like 9 games that were like winnable games. Not like we could have won. We just like lost by 20. Like winnable as in like we're tied going into the last 5 minutes. Or like it's single
game winning,
or we lose on a game winner. So you add 9 games to that, we were 14 and 10, 14 and 9 or whatever,
possibly,
and that's a high seed in the what do you call it? So like there obviously it isn't like the step that you would want, but it's definitely a step in the right direction, and hopefully we can continue to build on that with the legacy and with the things that you're leaving behind.
So I didn't look at your podcast before this, which I wanted to because this happened so fucking last minute. But do you remember what your goals were going into the season?
I mean, I could probably tell you personally, like
1,000 ball.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think about the 1,000 because it was like on pace. Like I was probably 7 points a game away, which isn't hard, in my opinion. So I was just like, it was more like above and beyond All-American, Player of the Year, things like that. That didn't happen, and just because that didn't happen doesn't mean I don't feel like I did. It was more challenges than I anticipated in terms of some players didn't take a jump or we didn't get what we needed in terms of roles. So that was the thing. But again, it's still successful to me. Just because I didn't get to my individual goals doesn't mean some of those guys didn't end up growing into roles or just becoming better players and people in general. So
now that you've got a year with this team and you played on last year's team as well, what are some differences? Because I've heard them talk about last year's team a lot recently. What do you think are some differences between this year's team and last year's team?
I think this year, in terms of, I don't really think it was talent that separated us because I was always hearing that a lot. Like, oh, yeah, you're more. No, I don't think it was more talented. I just think this team, in terms of just, going out there and just knowing their roles, I think that was always the problem with Elms. Like, I've been here a long time and just finding that mesh of guys to just put on a court that put to aside their egos and just playing together as a unit. I think that was a difference. Like I had a couple guys like Aaron. He always go in there by, yo, I want this rebound. Like that's what he cared about. You'll see a guy be like, yo, I need 30 or 40. No, I need 10, 20 rebounds, which is, good. Obviously that comes with is intangibles. It's just like a guy wanting 20 steals. You're going to have times where you gamble and just, do things to get that, but that's still, unselfish on his part because it's like, I know people who want to get 40 every game, and truthfully, you got to look at yourself and be like, is that guy a 40 type of guy? Like, he can go and get 10, 15, 20 rebounds, you know what I'm saying? So, and that goes a long way because it took a little bit less off me because, coming 2 years before this, I was like the leader rebounder on the team. So, just to have a person like that and, take a little bit of weight off me, it was, went a long way, so.
Aaron gets some fucking ridiculous rebounds, bro. Like, I've seen him go up sometimes just like, I don't
even
even
realize it. Like, I am taller than him.
You might be, but dude, he manages to pull down some fucking unreal rebounds. I only have ever been impressed when I seen someone get a fucking rebound in my life until I met him.
But there's that also talk about change the culture and that's important. Like I feel like this year was a step in the right direction in the sense of you have guys like usually it'll be like, oh, like who's gonna score more points or whatever. But I actively heard like Tay and Aaron joking around like, yo, you're stealing my rebounds or whatever, and that's not a stat that you would That's not even a stat that Like you look at Andre Drummond, who's probably one of the best rebounders of all time, gets absolutely no love. It's not a stat that is impressive or a sexy stat, you know what I mean? But it's extremely important to winning. Yeah. And the fact that guys care about that so much is a testament to the culture that we're building. If that makes sense.
Moving forward, what do you want to see out of this Elms basketball team? I mean, maybe you get name specific or whatever.
Yeah.
What do you want to see happen in the coming years?
Get name specific.
I will. So I had a couple conversations. I mean, I'm going to shout a couple guys out. I might get to everyone, I might not, but specifically just a few names or, people in my head. Jaden's, one of those guys that I think could be like a spark and plug guy, but obviously he has, some growing to do in terms of just everything, emotions, weight, but obviously he has a skill that a lot of people don't possess just naturally, just put the, ball in the hoop. So that's one of the guys I hope that, takes a big jump this summer. Hopefully he comes back, even if he's not in a starting role, which he may or may not be. I can see him being like a Lil Will type guy, come off the bench.
He's definitely Norwich.
Yeah, exactly.
He could be a really good six man. I've been saying that for a minute. Like his just emotional attachment to the game, and that could be a really big spark off the bench.
I think Key, me personally, Key is a good, you can obviously see the talent level between him and the next person on the team. I think personally, if he takes that instead of being a scorer first, being more of a playmaker, because he draws so much attention. Like he made a pass in practice about 3 days back, the day before our last game, and it was like a baseline. He pump faked, and then he ended up throwing like a cross court to the right corner.
I've seen him do that so many fucking times.
He's a good playmaker.
And I was like, and I told him from the beginning of the season, funny part, like, hey, like I know you can put the ball in a hoop, but your gravitation is so big that if you just learn to just get people open a little bit more, you'll see, some things open up, easy layup, stuff like that. So that's another guy. And then lastly, I'll speak on this person. Again, I'm not forgetting about Ian, another 3-and-D guy I think could be important. Mike, if he just grows into, just being that pesky guard, like I know most of you guys that's watching this won't know, but MCLA had a guard 2 years ago who literally just dive on the floor, get rebounds, and just set up the offense. I think Mike could become something like that, and that translates into winning basketball. But lastly, Sam is, I think, the biggest component for Elms to become a championship team within the next, let's say, 3-4 years. Mm-hmm. I think by senior year, if everybody grows into these roles, because most of these guys have 2-3 years, I think that truthfully they could become, contender just due to those presence. Like Sam is one of those guys that could be all conference, possibly player of the year with the right people around him. So 100%.
We brought up Sam a few times, but just for context, he has a 40-inch vertical, 6'5", could definitely be an absolute paint presence and a beast.
Baby Braun.
Yeah, for sure. Like he could be a fucking beast at the Division III level. So now you're trying to go play pro right now. That's the plan.
Possibly, we'll see what happens.
So what does that look like in the next coming months and year?
Yeah, I mean, just using my connections. Again, I know a lot of, people who have played pro basketball or, coaches and things like that may have, some people that I could speak to. Just trying to reach out to the right agency, that oversees businesses, it could be shady sometimes, finding the right people. So just trying to find trustworthy people to put me in a good position. And obviously, I know I'll put the work in, and obviously, whoever takes a chance on me, I'll be happy, and obviously they'll be happy when they get out. So just, trying to make that transition and find the right people. And obviously if that doesn't happen, I have some things to fall back on. So.
What are those things?
So, I have 2 degrees, so I did just get my master's about 2 months ago in management. So obviously if I don't end up going overseas to pursue that, I'll just end up going, get a job, hopefully, flip some money, make some good investments within the next few years. And obviously, hopefully.
Sports bets.
Yeah, it's a little side hustle, but nothing crazy, Could be a scam sometimes, but yeah, just more like real estate things, stocks, things like that. Some things that I learned throughout the way, drop shipping things. There's a lot of different things that I got some good knowledge on. So, shout out, my big bro, Justin. If, you end up watching this, thanks for the info. So.
Yes, I got into eBay reselling not that long ago too. Yeah. I was in stocks and shit too. I just can't. It's just so much. It takes so much of your fucking time.
You need time. That's what I'm saying. That's why. But by the time I'm done with it, I'll have enough time to put into those things. So.
Something I want to loop back on, because me and him were walking to CVS the other day and we had a conversation about how he was like he couldn't rationalize how like he's putting in all of this work and all this stuff's happening and he gets 7 shots over the course of the season. He's like, why can't one just fucking fall? Like, I don't understand.
Talking about me, I was like, who the fuck is
No, talking about you. And he was like, you couldn't rationalize. And I heard this quote on another podcast and I brought it up. It was like, it's called measure in hundreds. And I was like, if you think about it realistically, you've put in how many fucking shots in your entire life? And it's accumulated into this set of 7 shots that you got in game. You have 7 reps in a real college basketball game. And that's just not enough volume to justify, like, if you go on a long enough time horizon, obviously you're going to make a fucking shot. So I'm wondering if, like, you could speak on just, like, the weird mentality it is with you have 7 seconds in a game, you get a shot off, and it's, like, just measuring yourself in these stupid fucking statistics.
I mean, usually, like, again, I know for you, like, I'll usually watch Max get in a game, and I'm like, he didn't miss that shot because he doesn't practice it. He's just missing it because it's, like, mental. Mm-hmm. I'm being truthful, which is just like sooner or later your body is just gonna be muscle memory, and it just translates to you not even thinking. Like your body's gonna naturally do it because, like you just said, there's a weird statistic of you have this much time to make a decision, whether that's catch the ball and shoot, dribble, drive, make a kick out, whatever the case is, because the game is so fast, especially as you go up levels. You always hear that. It just gets faster and faster. So sooner or later, like I always see, like once people start putting in work, which, you know, a bunch of guys doing, especially Max, see Max in the gym all the time, like you'll start to see it translate sooner or later. I know, again, that's where the process comes into play because it might not translate right away. Like I'll use an example. We had a guy named T. Sterling. Shout out Tyler. He was a junior when I got here. He was, you know, a good guy, great captain, great leader. He worked his ass off, like, truthfully, one of the hardest workers I've seen, and it just didn't translate for him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Put the most work in. He either got hurt or it just wasn't translated on the court, and then, you know, he just got frustrated, and he continued to go in the gym and work and work and work, and it just didn't translate. But the thing about that is maybe it just, you know, wasn't that time. Maybe he needed another year, you know what I'm saying? So it's just in terms of just being patient, like, again, and also just being intentful about what you do. Like, I notice once you stop thinking and just, okay, cool, I work on this so much, because I think that's the thing, like, just say you do get 7 shots, or you might even get 2. Let's keep it modest. You get 2 shots. Some people make the best of that. You know what I'm saying? Also being intentful and making the best, because usually guys be like, oh, I didn't get enough shots, or I'm getting it cold. You got to make the best of what you got, because beggars can't be choosers. So I think that also ties into that philosophy.
I feel like I had like a moment of what you're talking about, kind of, and obviously, like, I feel like the theme of this podcast is like slow motion is better than no motion.
Yep.
Like, obviously, you set out a goal and maybe you don't achieve that goal, but like the progress shouldn't go unnoticed. I feel like versus Regis was the last shot I took, and I feel like me and Chris are talking about this. You're saying like, yeah, it eventually just feels like muscle memory. Eventually goes out of thinking. I feel like that was the first kind of moment that I shot a shot that like I would actually practice.
Yep.
Like that, it just missed. It hit back rim, but like after I shot that shot, like that was the first time where I wasn't like mad at myself. Like, oh, I should have held my follow through. I should have stuck my landing. I should have done all the X, Y, Z. And I'm like, I just did everything. I subconsciously caught the ball and did everything that I practiced, and the outcome wasn't in my favor. But it will. But if I keep shooting shots like that and going down that direction, there's a lot of shots to be made in the future. I feel like, if that makes sense.
One of the things I wanted to talk about, just ask you from like a personal level, is like, do you feel the pressure in these games? Because you just look so fucking unfazed when it's like there's 10 minutes, there's 2 minutes left, and you're 2-point game, and like you're being pressured full court, and like someone like me, I would shit myself in these moments, but you look so unbelievably unfucking phased.
I mean, again, I just think it's the balance. I know, like, Coach, you always used to say, like, some guys just work out in the gym so much. Like, in terms of, say, for example, like, Max is just working out, you need a balance. Like, going outside and playing on the hard, you know, like concrete sometimes, and balance that with just putting in work with, you know, coaches, personal trainers, X, Y, and Z. Just find a good balance. It makes you be ready for that moment, because I think that's, you know, the problem. Like, some guys just work out so much they become robots. You don't have that balance of, like, free form to be in the game and just, you know, unconsciously, but okay, it's just basketball. Like, that's how I really treat it. Like he just said, like he had made a, you know, shot and it didn't go in, but he did everything. Like, I know in that moment I'm not gonna make a mistake that I wasn't comfortable with. You know what I'm saying? If I make a mistake, it is what it is. If I make a pass or make a shot and it doesn't fall, I'll do the same thing over and over again. And I know, you know what I'm saying, I did the right thing. It's just like subconsciously, I know muscle memory of me putting that work in. It's just like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So
like the pressure thing too. I had a conversation with one of the kids that I'm training in the summer recently.
Yep.
And he was asking me, like, why? Because he plays in a little league, like a Friday night league.
Yep.
That there's no pressures, whatever. And, like, then he moved up to high school ball, and he's playing in that league. And he couldn't figure out why the pressure was fucking him with him in the high school game, but it wasn't in the Friday night game. It took me a minute to understand, like, why I would go from the same league up into like high school ball, then AAU ball, and like I could look back and realize that like the barriers I was creating were mental. Yeah, like I wasn't afraid in this game, but it's the same level of pressure. Like there's the same amount of people in the stands, everything. And it's just like I was clearly
same size basketball, the same.
I was creating these things in my mind, and I had to look back and be like, I'm doing it to myself. So if I can create it with my mind, I can break it with my mind too. It's the same shit.
I agree. I mean, I think me and Max it was me and Farai speaking, and I always tell guys like the game is, to me, more 80% mental than physical. Like, obviously, you got to have the physical tools. There's certain intangibles that make you better than others, but that mental aspect of chess and checkers, you know what I'm saying? If you could play chess and be 3 steps ahead of the person in front of you, you're going to win that matchup most of the time, and they might not see it over the course of the game. But, for example, Steve Nash, he wasn't the most athletic guy, but he was smart. He was ahead of his competition, which made him be able to dominate, and you wouldn't see it till, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you wouldn't see it to the end of the game where like, oh, shit. He just got 3 steals, 10 assists, and he just, you know, shot 50 and 50 from the, you know what I'm saying, from the field and 3-point line. Like, it's just those little things. And again, like you just said, those things I spoke about, just putting in work and just, you know, finding that balance, is just finding that, you know, the thing that's going to make you the most confident in those moments. Because I know me just putting that work in, I look at the guy in front of me like, you didn't put more work in front of me, and more work in than me. So it's like, why am I afraid of this moment? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Is that something you've been doing your entire career, or has that happened recently?
I mean, me personally, the one thing I could say I didn't really translate until I got into college was weight, like, the weight room, but I always been a guy putting in work. Like, I remember always, like, the one thing people don't know a lot, shout out T. I mean, if you're from Bridgeport, you might know T, but he's a guy, he's for the community. I used to go to the court, like, LA Fitness, 5 in the morning. Like, I'll be up 4:30 in the morning. He'll take me to LA Fitness, that's like down the street. Sometimes that might be close, so we got to go 30 minutes away from home. So I've been used to like putting work in from 5, 6 a.m. in high school. There'll be certain moments like I'm outside in like the hood, park called Indigo. I'll be out there. They have lights, so I'll be out there 1 a.m. in the morning, 2 a.m. in the morning, just getting shots up and just working. And obviously, you know what I'm saying? I know certain other guys. Shout out my boy Quaylon, rest in peace. He went to Albertus our first year and he won a chip, but he started at point guard. He was a good player. You know what I'm saying? I can tell, like, for most guys, comparing, where you come from, backgrounds, the reason why they're not afraid of those moments or things like that, just because that work ethic translates. Like, even if it didn't translate, shout out Pat. Even though it doesn't translate the way you want it.
He knows everybody.
Yeah. Shout out Pat. Even though it doesn't translate in things that you want it to, it's going to translate in things that you need it to. Like, in life, just being a hard worker always translates. So even, like, again, that goes back to not getting results you want. As long as you put in that work, and that discipline is the main thing that you really want.
Work works on you more than you work on it.
Yeah.
Stole my quote that I stole from somebody else. What does your offseason look like right now? What is the plan for this?
So, I mean, right now I'm really just trying to get, a good agent, hopefully get offered a contract. But while I wait for that, what most people do is just trying to stay in shape. So right now, I'm pretty much going to be waking up. I'm going to start jogging a lot, try to get 2 miles in. And then obviously I'll have like a second/third workout, which would be like weight room and then translate into the gym. Probably work with coach. If not, some 5-on-5 basketball. But before the 5-on-5, I'm trying to get my own, individual workout because I'm used to just working out by myself. I don't really need like a trainer or a coach. So those like the main things, just trying to increase getting stronger. One thing I think IQ is just watching basketball, but obviously playing it, but also like I like to read books. So I think just little things like that, just translate into.
What books are you reading?
I had the Kobe
You've been
book.
in our room. You've seen the mountain of books that Chris has on the desk.
I have this little Kobe book. I think most people have is like that.
The Moment Mentality one?
Yeah, I have that.
I got my buddy that.
I have it's like a book called How to Shoot 40, 40, 90, which is it's pretty much like a mental book. It's just showing you mentally, like, because it's not really a physical thing. You put all the work in, but it's just mental. And obviously I have like some financial literacy books because that just keeps me disciplined. It's just more about the discipline than anything. But just, getting a good habit of just doing all those things while I have the free time is the main thing. Just, keep my brain sharp. So.
How do you think Coach P after our last game kind of had this whole monologue about how
Monologue is crazy.
about how Elms has like shaped TC and allowed him to grow into the player, but more importantly, like the man that he is and the man that he is taking into the real world. I want you to just speak a little bit on that, how like this school over the last 5,000 years has helped you turn to the person that you are.
I think, truthfully, like, I came to Elms in 2019, so it was a good, BC. I was here, for a while, but it gave me the chance. It was just, again, like I said, opportunities. Opportunities is the main thing. Like, go where you want it, not, where you think. Like, I know I was wanted here. Like, before I came here and I got recruited to come here, I spoke to the coach, just the presentation for my visit and things like that. And then as I came here from a class aspect, the way teacher treated me, the chances I got for like, just being an RA to ARD, those little things were like, what helped me, just become leader, like a, big brother, just becoming that guy, who I am today. I always had those like, attributes and those traits, but just being able to, put it in front of everybody and for everybody seeing and, everybody embraced me here from teachers to faculty, to maintenance, to janitors. I know everybody here from, top to bottom. So, again, just trying to be a good person. Like, that's the one thing I, truly believe in. And I always think that, not the karma, but, the energy always comes back your way. So it did give me the opportunity. I felt like I was that person before, but obviously I definitely have grown a lot since, coming here. So
I was going to ask about that because, like, if for all of you that don't know, TC is probably the most well-known human being on campus. Like, I'd find it hard to believe that you could go up to anyone on this campus like, yo, do you know TC? And they'd be like, nah, I don't know who that is. So I was going to ask, like, when you came here in 2019, was that, like, something you were setting out to do or that just happened because of the person that you are?
No, it just happened. I mean, if you don't know me, you can ask, like, the guys. The first team I had when I came here, TB, Junie, T. Sterling, DJ, shout out all of y'all, Prince, Shaskai. There's a lot of guys, but I actually sat at the table by myself when I first got here. I wasn't like, I like to, pretty much watch my surroundings, get a feel for places, because again, you can't get too comfortable too fast. You know what I'm saying? I think that's where you mess up. So obviously, I wasn't even sought out to do that. Like, oh yeah, be the most known. Usually that just happens, especially as an athlete. Most people, you're in high school, everybody knows you're an athlete, things like that, doing different things. But yeah, that was never my intention. Like, I came here, I was just trying to scout out the area. I'm from New York originally, but I lived in Connecticut half my life. So coming to a new state was like, okay, let me see how the school is, see how people move, and just, see who I can trust and who I couldn't. So obviously, like one of my first teammates, Junie and TB, they was like, why you sitting by yourself? And then obviously I started sitting with guys and things like that. But yeah.
What has kind of changed about Elms? Maybe not even basketball, but just in general, from when you got here in 2019 to now when you're leaving in 2024?
I think just the learning process and guys being more receptive to criticism and just learning from like another player. I think that's the one thing like we couldn't really separate. Like when I first got here, our egos and just we couldn't put it together as a unit. Like I was saying, like we had the talent because that was my most winning year here. Was my first year here. Like,
no fake. Probably almost every team in the country has the talent to be good. Like the talent, there's no talent lacking in any college basketball gym.
Cut that, but like I just want to throw that out there.
Bro, their best player is nice as fuck, bro. The guy with the
dreads, 23, yeah.
He's nice. They can't even say that. We're cutting that shit out.
Yeah, I'll cut that out.
I mean, truthfully, again, it's just you see the most winnings program. Yeah, they have all these statistics that show why they win, but it's bigger than just statistics. Like again, it's the people that you bring into your program. You got to have leaders. You got to have guys that's willing to sacrifice on and off the court. You got to have guys in practice from like a practice player to be able to hold guys accountable and push each other. So I think that's just the main thing. Like my past couple years here, like we had good teams, but we were just too comfortable. Like, let's say the rotation was 1 through 7. You had a 7-guy rotation. All 7 guys are comfortable. Like it's like who's gonna take my spot? Compared to now, it's kind of different. It's like, okay, cool. You can see this guy can come and take your spot. And even if it's not to that level, it's okay. This guy's coming to practice and pushing you. Yeah. You got Jaden talking shit to a guy who starts. You even have a practice player like Hassan coming in. You know what I'm saying? Hustling, getting reps, getting rebounds, laying. You know what I'm saying? Get layups. Ben. Daniel will come in and fucking have a practice, or he'll just get every rebound and just, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm like that. I think that's the main thing. And again, those guys, the difference with like past practice squad, because I think it's been 2 years since we had a practice squad. This is the 2nd year. These guys this year is very different because they might not be happy that they don't have a jersey, but they don't take the game for granted. I think that's the main thing. Guys, about okay, I'm gonna just leave. So it's like fuck it. But in hindsight, they was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna prove why. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. And obviously, those guys just they really took pride in their roles. And again, the role thing is the main thing. That's the really main thing. Like, because you'll see a lot of dynamics of teams. Like I watched the past 2 GNAC championships, and the past 2 winners have been St. Joe's or Alberta's, but I'll see the difference. Like a guy come off the bench and bring that energy, and his energy is not just I just scored a bucket. That's why it's rebounds, tip out rebounds, getting a steal, diving on the floor. Those little things translate to wins and just wills the team. So.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I've been thinking about lately is how basketball has kind of shaped me as a person.
Yep.
I'm wondering, because you've been playing this game for a long fucking time, I'm wondering how you think basketball has shaped you into the human being you are today.
Truthfully, I think for most basketball players, it's like your sanctuary. So, like, you come here and let out all your emotions, bad, good, in between. Yeah. Like, this is home. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that was me when I was younger, like, just trying to figure out, myself as a young man, single parent, only had a mom. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? That was like, this would guide me to, new people, new places and things like that. So that's the main thing. Like, really use basketball. Don't let basketball use you, because I know in the moment, a lot of people are just flowing around, like, just waiting for their moment. But while you wait, just continue putting in work and try to, control the variables that you could. I think that's the main thing.
We don't have a question from the last guest because Declan wanted to roast Adam and he couldn't be here today. But I do have a question that I found online that I think is going to be interesting. If you knew you would die in 10 years, what would you do today?
That's super morbid. I was not expecting
It's morbid,
that.
but like I want to know because I read this question. I was like, damn, this kind of puts shit in perspective. So if you knew you were going to die in 10 years, what would you do today?
One thing people don't know is, like, people I'm close with, mom, like close friends, I always say, like, if I die today, I have no regrets. I put the work in I needed to. I may not got the result, but I put the work in for everything I wanted. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. Yeah, definitely. But I have no regrets. Like, again, my main point in life, a lot of people don't know is, because obviously if you don't know me, you're just going to think, okay, he's a basketball player. He does this. He likes to get dressed. Whatever you think of me. But I really like to change people. Like, again, I think my point in life and God put me here is just to, help people elevate and become the best them. And obviously, anybody that comes into my life, even if it's acquaintance, my main thing is always like, okay, cool. I see this person's strengths, this is their weaknesses, this is where they're trying to get, and I'm going to push you to try to get where you want to be. So Chris told me he wanted to be a lawyer. I'm pushing him to make sure he keeps that 4.0, gets into grad school, things like that.
You said that, or he was making that up?
He's saying
Yeah,
if Chris told me.
So yeah, that's just the main thing. I don't really have anything I would change now. I think I'm doing everything I want to prepare me for the future. And again, like, you might not always get the result. There's bumps in the road. That's just part of life. If life was smooth for everybody'd be millionaires. You know what I'm saying? So
just circling back to like the pro thing, I'm just curious, like, if you could play pro anywhere, if it was up to you, obviously not NBA, but like overseas pro, we're kind of talking.
Not in Siberia.
yeah.
Where do you
It'll
think-
be EuroLeague. Anywhere in the EuroLeague. You can put me anywhere in the EuroLeague, I'll be happy.
Do you have any like destination that you've maybe always wanted to go to that basketball in like a dream world would take you there?
I mean, if I wasn't like picking a specific league, like a EuroLeague, I probably want to go to France. If not, like my mom's side of family's from Belize, so obviously I don't think the money out there is anything crazy. But if it was worth going out there, it's definitely somewhere I'd love to go. Like my family on that side, I'd be very proud. So
Why France?
I don't know. It's just a different culture out there. Just like how I view
you
like
brought a 7.5 in France, bro.
Yeah.
The baguettes, man. They make you 7.5
Hey, listen.
with 7.5 with a handle and a jumper.
I've indulged in the French culture a few times.
I got a
great
top
culture.
three. It's France. I think Japan would be a good place to always go. I like Japan. Like those are places like I want to travel. And then
Japan would be dope as
UK. The UK has always like been culture wise. It's like
Shout out
fun to me.
Benjo. My boy's in the UK right now for school.
Hope you're having fun. I hope to
He
see
told
you
me
one day.
He actually, so funny thing that the podcast took this direction, but so college sports is not really is a big, like that's why you see like shout out Jonas and Sieb. First Jonas and Sieb shout outs on the podcast, but they're actually they're in the room across from us currently playing their spring break, but they're from Holland.
Yep.
And
the soccer players, right?
yeah. But the reason they come here is because there is
In Europe, there's not
very little separation. There's a large degree of separation between academics and athletics in other places in the world. In America, you can go to play for Elms University like TC and I do, or like Madai like Chris and I did, and you can be a student and an athlete at the same school. And it's not really similar in the U.S. I mean, in overseas. That being said, in England, my friend Benjo was explaining to me how it is still like that.
Yep.
But there are teams in these various universities. It's just not the same competition level as it would be in a club. That's why most people play there. But he plays, so he's the starting QB for the football team, and he also he starts on the lacrosse team. He's never played football before. He just has a good arm. But I'm just saying, he's a really good athlete. But it just shows, and he always would tell me, like, yo, come he goes to University of Sussex.
Yep.
In England, and he's like, come here, it'll be so fire. And it's like, bro, like I was thinking, like it's just completely different. Like they only practice twice a week and they have one game. It's like not the same. I have no direction with this. That's just you talking
Twice
about
a
that.
week is crazy though. Like, it's like
you talking about that just made me want to.
it's like pickup. Just go out there and play pretty much.
But they have some hoopers. Though.
I believe it.
Like they have this. He was showing me this highlight video. This one dude was like 6'7" and like dunking on people. They have like the lacrosse team. It's like they have transfers from like grad students from Duke.
Why would they want to go there though?
Why would I?
Why would they, like the kids from Duke?
Because they're taking their master's program in England abroad, and they played 4 years at Duke. Oh, but also a cool thing is there's no eligibility. So you can play for as many years as you want.
So you go there and play 20 years.
You could go there and play 20 years.
Nuts.
So you can go and be a grad student there.
So he could go light it up in the fuking EuroLeague and then come down to some college.
Yes,
and
you could. There's no LeBron could go and play for University of Sussex or whatever if he wanted to. And I was thinking, I just saw them across from. We were talking about the thing. I just wanted to bring up that point that maybe some people didn't know. But
anybody who want to escape reality, go down there, play 30 years. You can tell somebody you play a professional career for 30 years.
No, but it's cool, and it's like it is technically still college sport.
Yep.
It's like you're representing the institution. It's obviously not to the same like somebody, the equivalent of us in Europe would probably be playing club because that's of the higher level. But when you look at it from the outside perspective of like us who we play for our school, you look at the parallel over there. That's what the parallel looks like. Which
Don't
is
they get free education too? Like they don't pay tuition.
No, there's no scholarships like that. I don't think.
But I thought they didn't pay for education in general in Europe. I thought it was just free.
Yeah,
you just go to college.
I think it is.
I don't think Ben's just paying a shitload of money to be on abroad. Yeah, I think so. But
I
he's
thought it
also
was,
doing like an exchange
basically
program.
free.
I know exchange is so much money.
I would do it.
I 100% would do it too.
We have some Japanese exchange students, don't we?
Yep.
They're coming here or they're already here?
They're coming here this week, actually. I think like the middle of this week, probably like either tomorrow or Wednesday.
There were some some sort of Asian country exchange students at Madai as well.
Yeah.
And in my boarding school, like there was so many people from like Korea, and it's cool. It's cool. It's cool the places that basketball can take you. Whether it's you come to Elms, which is in, I guess, relatively close to where you grew up, but you meet people from Canada, from Holland, from wherever, or you are the person who goes to Holland to play professional basketball. I think we could probably wrap it up in a minute. I just kind of want to ask. I guess I want to alter the last question. So we already
alter the last question too. Actually,
I was just gonna say, what's one piece of advice you can give to the Elms basketball team that you can leave with the Elms basketball team? I was assuming you're gonna say something very similar.
Like, what's the advice you would give to the next year's guy in your position?
So what's the piece of advice you can leave with us?
I mean, so all I'm gonna say is I know you and Ian spoke about the highs and lows and just keeping that middle ground of not getting too high, not getting too low. Shout out Farah and Ian because we were in the gym today. I beat that green light shoeing. Farah,
Which one did you beat?
Championship, but that's not like the first time. But Farah didn't see it with his own eyes, so he wanted to see it firsthand. So
I apologize for not being there. I'm taking a week off.
You're good.
Coach, actually, I'm in my room. Talking to my girlfriend and about to start a test, and Coach, I got a FaceTime from Coach. Answer the FaceTime. His face is like in the screen like this.
Yeah, per usual.
He's like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "Dude, we just did 6 months. I'm taking a week off from my body."
You need that mental.
Yeah.
You feel
I'm
me?
still in the
reset.
weight room. because I want to get that started. But basketball wise, I'm taking a week off.
Yeah, it's not wrong.
So I was
with
not.
that.
I still have. Actually, no. I did see you beat a championship with my own eyes.
I know.
I saw you miss on the last.
Yeah,
spot,
Farah, and Farah got stuck on the second to last spot. So it was like, and I was telling him because he was on a good pace, and I said, Ian, remember what you and Max talked about, not getting too high, and he was just getting too happy, and he just started bricking. I said, yeah, and then after, he didn't say much to me. But the one thing I'm gonna give to anybody that comes here, no matter if you become a 1,000-point scorer, all conference, player of the year, all American, stay humble. Like this could be gone tomorrow. Truthfully, like I want guys to buy into your role because your role is bigger than just a basketball player. Like become a good person because you'll start to see it translate on the court. Like again, you'll stop caring about shit that doesn't really matter with basketball because I think a lot of these immature, younger kids. And even people who are older, they don't understand the game for what it is. Like, yes, some guys are out there to go kill and just put the ball in a rim. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what certain people overseas get paid for. Or you get what I'm saying? The NBA, like Cam Thomas, he's a professional bucket getter. You're getting paid to. But everybody, you got to understand that's not your role. Like, you got to, live with what you get. And at the end of the day, your role could grow next game, tomorrow, and again, it's just trusting the process. Like, continue to put your work in and know yourself. Because, again, I had a lot of players that came here like, hey, the coach doesn't know that I can do this. He'll see that over time. Just continue to play your role. You'll get opportunities to show that. And obviously, most of the time, people come here, you're not seniors. You're a freshman, sophomore with a redshirt year. You know what I'm saying? Literally. Junior with a redshirt year and a COVID year. You know what I'm saying? So you have time to show that. Just play your role and, you know what I'm saying, control the variables that you control. Once you start, because the reason why a coach puts a limit on your role, like, you don't need to do too much.
If you could go out and get, if Coach thought you could go out and get 40, you'd be able to go out and get 40.
Yeah, I would.
At the least
I would. I don't think anybody in the gym, like, you know what I'm saying, the GNAC will question that. Everybody knows that. And at the end of the day, if you don't think that's possible watching this, hey, hats off to you. But I think personally, like, it helps the team. Like, if you told me to just go out there and play, make, and get straight 10 assists and try to limit turnovers, that's what I would do because it's helping the team. Like, a coach is going to set up the team the way he sees it, should be possessed. But I just want to see the culture change because I think a lot of guys don't trust the process, and that goes bigger than just your role. Just the coach, the people around you, the leaders, and that's what I'm saying. The shift is there. We just got to take a bigger step now. Now it's up to, the young guys to put that work in. But I think, again, we have that. And we'll see, throughout these next couple of years. The goal should be now to 8 to 10 win season next year and hopefully make a, play-in or, a good season. So we'll see.
If you do end up playing pro, are you going to be around here at all to like?
Yeah, I'm definitely come back to at least one game. I said I'm coming back to see St. Joe's and Albertus because of juggernauts of GNAC. Hopefully, all my Albertus heads and St. Joe's heads. I hope y'all don't watch this, but if y'all do, no offense to y'all, but sooner or later it got to be a fall off. It can't be a dynasty for 30 years. So I'm just hoping you feel me. One of the smaller fries, Elms, New England College, Anna Maria, even a Riv, who just lost today. Dean, yeah. One of those schools, hopefully, I want to just see a different aspect. It's always it's refreshing. You know what I'm saying?
Our class, my class, and the freshmen. And
I have the tools to do it. I don't doubt anything. But, yeah, I'm going to definitely come and visit. At least one game, and I'll be watching the rest, through the stream. So
That's it. Thank you for coming on.
Appreciate you guys.
It's a wrap.